I discovered Rise of Kingdoms through another content creator, Mobile Gamer, who you guys sponsored to make the video. I saw his video, checked out the game, and the rest is history.
During the pandemic, I was looking for a game like those Facebook games such as Farmville. I liked playing Restaurant City, and I found Rise of Kingdoms from a YouTube ad and tried it out, and I've been playing ever since.
My best friend in real life, Jake, he got me into Rise of Kingdoms. He had been playing Lords Mobile prior, found Rise of Kingdoms, and was really trying to get me into it for a few months. And I never really dove into mobile games like that. Ended up caving, downloaded it, had a lot of fun, and never really looked back.
Community has to be the number one for this game, hands down.
Definitely the community. Getting to meet and play with other people and against people has been super fun.
So what is my favorite aspect of Rise of Kingdoms? I have to say it's the gameplay. It's the one thing that really kind of captivated me when I first started playing Rise of Kingdoms back when it was Rise of Civilizations. And back then we didn't even have freedom of movement. You kind of had to strategically plan to not hop through nodes, flags, cities, to kind of get around. And then a few months into playing, we got the freedom of movement, and that was it. It really felt like one of those old school kind of PC games in the palm of your hand, and just having that freedom and playing on such a big map as well, just kind of wowed me in terms of what we were able to pull off on a mobile game. And I really hope to see advances in the gameplay in the future for Rise of Kingdoms.
I'm really into whatever's meta, and if it's infantry, so Liu Che's where it's at for me. Right now, he's probably my favorite commander in the game. Before that, I probably would have picked Zhuge Liang.
My favorite commander is Dragon Lancer. The biggest reason is when I was new to SOC, I actually used him in Champions of Olympia to capture flags, and that was kind of a meme within our kingdom. So whenever people ask that question, I just always say Dragon Lancer.
Favorite commander is definitely Nevsky. I'm a Cav-focused player, and I just feel like Nevsky is one of the most versatile commanders in the game, being excellent in open field, excellent in rally situations, and you can even kind of use him as like a supplemental garrison, although I would not recommend this.
At a time when I could have been putting my Universal Legendary Commander sculptures into Alexander the Great, I was putting them into El Cid for KVK Season 2. Times were different back then, but they weren't that different.
Probably when I pushed for top 20 in my first KVK, I didn't know what barb training was until halfway through the KVK, and I had no AP, so I ended up getting 21st place in honor, which was heartbreaking.
Biggest mistake I made in Rise of Kingdoms is probably trying to chase being a rally and garrison lead, especially with some of the advancements that we've gotten in the game recent, whether that's armament or awakening systems. It's really kind of opened up the gap, whereas I finally had some crit sets and all that, but those really opened the gap for me, and I wish I kind of just focused more on being an open field player.
It's hard to pick any one moment here as the very best, but being in voice with the team and also sharing really crazy moments that happen on stream are probably my favorite moments.
Probably when I crit 2 pieces of Cav gear back to back. I crit my chest piece and my boots back to back crafts. I think that was the most luckiest I've ever gotten with crafting, and when I think of a best moment, that was the first thing that came up to mind.
My best moment in Rise of Kingdoms has to be probably winning KVKs as a king when I was in 2581. We had won 4 KVKs, I believe, while I was acting king there for about 2 years.
Honestly, the bad stuff, we just let it slide into the past, man. We just move on. Couldn't pick one out, don't remember.
My worst moment was when I made a new account because you couldn't buy Twilight Falls, the SOC shop. That wasn't a thing yet. So I made a new account, took everything I learned, and barb chained my way to first place in honor. Unfortunately, I did pass my R4, and he got mad and kicked me from the alliance 1 minute before KVK ended. So I lost about 40 gold heads and 15 legendary materials with all of the circle and ziggurat rewards that I lost out on.
Worst moment in Rise of Kingdoms is the civil war that I experienced in 2581 when I was acting as king. This was our KVK2, and we had a civil war after winning a Zone 5 fight. This was the busiest work week of the year for me. I remember being in accounts, going on Discord, trying to put out whatever fires I can, trying to save and salvage whatever we had. And I felt 6 to 7 months of hard work building up a kingdom literally withering away from me. But I was able to, along with the amazing help of my leadership team, to resolve most of the issue, and we progressed into the KVK intact, although losing.
This question is a joke, right? There's not actually balance between life and rock. There's only rock and rock.
Probably not the best person to ask because I quit my job to become a full-time content creator around January. But I think just scheduling some plans and some days with family. Saturdays, I usually, like the weekends, I don't really stream too much because that's when I spend time with my family and my girlfriend and such. So, you know, just making sure you have time for that. And during the off season, you do your real life stuff. And then during KVKs, especially during the fighting, you play Rise of Kingdoms.
This is a very good question. I think obviously you need to prioritize real life over rock. Rock definitely does take a lot of time, especially if you are free to play or a low spender. I just find that you have to do it at certain times of the day when you're free. So I wake up in the morning before work. I kind of get my day started doing some of the daily things that I need to do. And then once I get home from work, then it's kind of that time to go in and grind, whether that's barbarians or doing bastion quests. And just kind of setting a little bit of a mini schedule for yourself.
Number one advice to a new player is to make friends. You not only will enjoy the game more, but also it's pretty important for both your account progression and honestly like your survival in a new kingdom. So it's just a win all the way around.
The best advice I could give to a new Rise of Kingdoms player is to make friends. It really enhances your experience in your kingdom if you know people you play with and you have friends in your kingdom. And if you can't make friends in your kingdom, then that's probably a good indication that you should look elsewhere and try to migrate.
Immerse yourself in all the guides that we have. There's so many content creators now. There's so much available information that wasn't there when I first started the game about 5 years ago. I mean, you had people maxing, myself included, maxing or investing in sculpts into commanders like Cleopatra and Caesar, because that's kind of where the game is leaning you towards. But now we have so much information available to us, so I would definitely just immerse yourself into YouTube and the content that is provided for you.
I've been using this name for a long time, and it originated from when I was playing World of Warcraft and I was making a troll warrior. I wanted something that sounded like I was from the Zul'jin tribe, and Chisgul sounded like it was kind of fierce and spot on for my troll warrior. Stuck with me ever since.
Well, when I was in grade 3 and I was in geography, we were learning about urban and rural areas, and we had to make an island, and I named mine Plato Island because I misspelt Pluto, and everyone kept pressing up on me about it, and I just went with the flow. I'm like, no, I meant Plato, and I promised that if I ever made it in life, if I ever made anything, a company, I was ever an artist or anything like that, I would name it Plato, Plato Incorporated, Plato Music, and that's where Plato Gaming came from.
So the dirty aspect is kind of a slang term that we use here on the Northeast. I'm from New Jersey, and when you say, "Ooh, that was dirty," that's like almost like a term of endearment, or it's like if you're playing like a first-person shooter, which is kind of where I got it from. They'd be like, "Yo, that was dirty." So that means when it's something really good. Yes, I do shower. That's not why my name is Dirty Dan. And also, too, one of my best friends kind of gave me the name of Dirty Dan in lieu of the SpongeBob scene where he's going back and forth with Patrick of who is Dirty Dan.
I hadn't ever thought about being a content creator until I saw you guys advertising a content creator program in a forum of all places. I applied to the program, started making videos, and 2 weeks later had a conversation with someone from your team, and after that, the rest is history.
Well, I always watched YouTube as a kid. Reinhiga, Smosh, Freddy, all those people. And then I transitioned into gaming content. Yogscast, Let's Play, Uber Haxanova, Creatures, all those people. But I just never got into content creation. But when I started playing Rise of Kingdoms, I was playing it so much. And then the PC version of Rise of Kingdoms came out. That was a huge thing. when the PC version came out, I'm like, okay, let's just start recording, start streaming. I wasn't really to, you know, make content, but so that I could look back at it as memories. But people started watching, so that's how I started making Rise of Kingdoms content.
I kind of just started making videos because I knew that that was the way to kind of jumpstart the channel. But you'll see me kind of get focused a little bit more on just streaming, whether that's Rise of Kingdoms or any other games that I decide to play in the off-season.
I think the biggest challenge as a content creator is realizing that gameplay is not really content. Sure, I can be streaming, but I need to spend less time on gameplay, like organizing a kingdom or being a king, and more time on actually just making content. Literally just need to do only content creation and not the other stuff.
I think the biggest challenge so far has been time management, especially during the beginning of KVK. Just want to barb chain all day, but then you have to edit videos, you have to create scripts, you have to, you know, potentially make shorts, you have to answer DMs, you have to live life. So time management as a content creator is really tough, especially when you're trying to do it full time.
It's definitely consistency. Rise of Kingdoms is very particular. It tells you when to play the game. And I got to give a shout out to Chiz on that when we were just streaming this past Osiris League. It really is hard because you do... The game kind of forces you when to play, and you can kind of do chill streams here and there, but you have to be diligent in being consistent and kind of having a schedule when becoming a content creator of any sort.
I think my favorite part about being a content creator is sharing really hype or crazy moments on stream when they happen. Sometimes I'm getting lucky, sometimes I'm getting unlucky, sometimes somebody else is getting really unlucky if they maybe misplay. Those sorts of things are just really fun.
I think one of the best things about being a content creator for Rise of Kingdoms is the community. The Rise of Kingdoms community is just so supportive of Rise of Kingdoms content creator for the most part, and you meet a lot of people from being a content creator. I learn a lot of new things, like half of the things, maybe more, I learned from, you know, my Rise of Kingdoms chat and what's going on in the Rise of Kingdoms community. And you get to collaborate with other content creators as well and meet other people outside of your kingdom. So that's probably my most favorite thing about being a Rise of Kingdoms content creator.
Favorite aspects, honestly, is just engaging with chat on stream. I feel like even though being a smaller content creator streamer, I've got an amazing community behind me. A lot of friends that I probably didn't think I was going to make, and a lot of people that consistently drive me that I'm honestly forever grateful for. And I hope that we can all, as a team, kind of take this thing to new heights.
My number one tip would be to just focus on the content and extract yourself from anything that is not content. It might sound a little fierce, but like, stop with the gameplay, focus on the content. You can still play the game to inform your content, but playing the game is not making content.
Download OBS or Streamlabs, whatever you want to use, and start streaming. The hardest thing to do is to start. You don't have to be perfect when you start, but as long as you gradually improve, you know, you'll get to the point where you want to be. I still think I'm still improving as we go on here. So just be consistent and try it out.
The biggest thing is just do it. If you're having thoughts, if you're on the fence, if you think that your setup's not perfect or this or that, look, just go in and do it. You're only going to learn through trial and error. I remember my first thumbnails being horrible. Looking back on them now, they're atrocious, but you learn as you go. So just get started, get going, guys, and it'll all start to come together.
On both my accounts, I've been playing with the same group of people for a really long time, and it's good. You build relationships, and it's sort of comforting when you're in a chaotic situation in-game, but you hear a voice of someone you know in voice chat, and you're going to work through it and figure out what to do next. It's sort of hard to explain that, but it's definitely rewarding to be playing with the same folks over time and getting to know each other. As weird as this sounds, my favorite KVK was when a bunch of Imperiums ganged up on my kingdom in a Strife of the 8 KVK. And we fought 2v1, and we were crushing it, man. And although we lost the KVK overall, we really stood no chance from the beginning, from the way allies worked. I have never seen that group that I was playing with at the time just show up in such a big way. I think it's because there was a little bit of a rivalry involved, but like, God, it was just so fun to have so many people so engaged. It's actually probably within that same KVK I was just talking about. I remember waking up, we were taking triple rallies on the flag, Ticklefist and I were trading off being the garrison captain, and there were like 3,500 plus current viewers or something insane. I mean, it just was such a hype KVK all the way through. It's probably one of my favorite KVK memories. This one's actually a little bit emotional for me, but my dad used to play when he was still alive, and I loved talking with him about content that was going into my videos. That was just really rewarding for me, to be able to share with him that I had like made a video, and it was not only useful to my audience, but like to my father who also played the game.
I did a face reveal stream for 1K subscribers. It's members only right now, but there is a stream of my face up. I don't know, maybe when I hit 10, 15K. The thing is, I'm just lazy to get ready. Usually when I streamed before, it would be right after work, and I'd be so tired that I wouldn't want to, you know, reset up and get myself ready to be presentable for stream. But I don't know, maybe you want to hit 10, 15K subs, so subscribe to my channel, I guess. The idea of my avatar is from a picture of myself. I sent a picture of myself to a graphic designer friend of mine from university, and they came up with the avatar image, so that's how it worked out. I don't know, does it look like me? Here's a picture. I think it does. Living a little bit of a Hannah Montana life where my real life friends, they know I'm a streamer now, but they don't, you know, I don't really talk about it too much. But people in my kingdom, especially people that I have met in Rise of Kingdoms, I never streamed to 0 people because my kingdom, there'd always be like 1 or 2 people from my kingdom just watching. And I think that really definitely helps, where they would just be there supporting me in the comments, making sure that, you know, streaming alone is probably one of the toughest things to do, streaming to barely anyone there. So they were there from the beginning and, you know, helped me, I guess, gain my confidence and prove that, you know, people want to watch my content because, you know, they were watching it. The reason why it's fun to play Rise of Kingdoms is because of my friends in Rise of Kingdoms. So a lot of my content, you'll actually hear them in voice chat and we're just talking back and forth, and, you know, that's the essence of the game to me. Well, I don't plan on leaving 2068 anytime soon, but if I were to leave, it'd probably be when 2068 dies, but I don't really have any plans outside of 2068 at the moment. The first thing that comes to mind is when I got rallied and swarmed a couple weeks ago, and I completely panicked, put Nevsky Joan on my wall. That's probably a very memorable moment. But I guess if we're talking about all time, I think the most memorable thing to me was when I hit 1K subs during KVK.
I started pretty much 5 years ago. I believe it was in Kingdom 1079, primarily in the Alliance F2P. We were in the very first Osiris League tournament. I did make that team as a substitute. That account, however, was not very great, so I ended up taking a break, picking it back up during COVID year, and that is where you see my main account now, is where I started. Started in 1777, started in 1779, migrated to 1777, won KVK 1 there. We won KVK 2, then I migrated to 1780, where I played there for about 3 or 4 KVKs. Then started a jumper project to create 2581, where I ended up being one of the kings there. And now, after 2 years in 2581, I am now in Kingdom 2975. So all of which those kingdoms I have all fought in. 1079, just real quick, that fought there with the very first KVK. It was amazing. Honestly, when I got approached by a goose, I was kind of thrown back. I knew that I was taking the proper steps to just build the Osiris League coverage the way that I wanted to on my channel, but I didn't think I was going to get the exposure and the sentiment, I guess you can say, from Lilith. And it was it was really a good time with Plotto. We chill, we chat, we support each other. We've actually met up in real life before too when he came to Jersey. So it was very comfortable and it was a very smooth experience to play with Plotto. We have another one coming up this week, which this will be posted after that match, but I'm looking forward to week 2 with Mr. Plotto. Definitely KVK 2 when I was in 1780. I think we had 11 days worth of fighting and probably where I got a bulk of my kill points. If I had to give a quick second place, that would have to be this last KVK when I was in 2581 for the first ever Tides of War that we did. And it was a super refreshing experience, a lot of good functionality that Lilith was able to implement in that KVK, but you can't beat 11 days of fighting, so KVK 2 in 1780 definitely takes the cake.